Hello and welcome back, all of you amazing consumers of Pax Dei and Pax Dei related content. I'm Altari, the professional gamer, and this is another episode of the PAX Friday Review, the show where we talk about all the fun, interesting, new, and exciting information that has dropped for Pax Dei over the last week. This week, almost 10% of all plots across all of the servers on average were wiped due to inactivity. These were players who had played less than 20 hours total and hadn't placed a lot of things on to their plots yet, nor did any of their clanmates. So all of those got picked up and redistributed to everyone else. And what I mean by redistributed is all of the servers went from full to high in terms of their population, meaning more people can place plots down who are actively playing the game. This has been a really big point of contention for a lot of players over the last couple of weeks, but it finally happened. And now we are seeing new residents moving into our server and our home valley, which I would imagine is the same experience that a lot of players are having right now. Other than that, this week we got a bunch of new screenshots specifically detailing some of the new building pieces that we're going to be getting most likely in the autumn update. This seems to be kind of a bridging press release that we have for this Friday, and we might be getting some more interesting stuff next. But in the meantime, we are going to go and take a look at all of the images that we did get and see what we can find out. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to like this video if you enjoy this type of content. Subscribe so that you can get notified whenever we come out with new Pax Dei or Pax Dei related content, and share with any of your friends who might be interested in learning a little bit more about Pax Dei. That's pretty much all we cover on this channel, but let's head over to take a look at some screenshots. All right, and here we are taking a look at some of the screenshots that are reflecting on new build pieces that we are going to be getting access to, hopefully in the upcoming autumn update. And right here off the bat, we can see that they are planning on giving us a couple of different styles of the same piece. You have your rustic beam set, neat beam set, and ornamental beam set. Now, between all of these, I think one thing that kind of comes out right at the very beginning is how small the ornamental beam set is in terms of its total distance, as opposed to your neat beam set right here or your rustic beam set. So I think that not only are they going to have different looks to them, but there's also going to be different levels of structural integrity that some of these might confer on each other. One thing I'd also like to note is that we do have some rounded pieces here as well. One of the things that I think has caused a lot of players some load issues when they're coming into the game is that we are all trying to make different pieces that just don't exist in the game yet. And some of those are like rounded pillars that we're placing things on top of each other over and over and over again in order to make the same effect. So it's great to see that some of these are getting here and placed in that way. Here is another image of some more of the ornamental beam set, and you can see that there are a couple of different sizes and shapes that all exist, and having all of these different options, especially for these L-shaped archways, is going to really open up a lot of possibilities when it comes to how we can make the internal structures of buildings. And I kind of wish I waited to make the giant Basilica of the First Redeemer, the huge cathedral build that we did, because some of the interior work that I did would easily be accomplished with significantly less work by using some of these instead. And I'm really excited to get our hands on those. But also really cool to see kind of the Fleur style Pax Dei emblem right there. And now here are a couple of the more filler pieces. So when you place everything the way that we can currently, there's going to be these gaps. It's great that we have a couple of fillers now, or we're going to be getting them, because they're going to allow for all of those shapes to exist, but then to not necessarily be constrained by the gaps that using those shapes are going to create. So we have a lot of different pieces that we can actually see used over here pretty well. One of those is, that top triangle piece. Then we also have the really small right angled triangles here, but then also the squares with the really cool kind of woodwork that's been done in the center. Now, I am also pretty interested in how tall these ceilings are. It looks like they might be maybe 1.5 roof tiles tall. And the one thing that you should go and note is that there are no stone bits or pieces located throughout this build. And it also looks like there's no other supporting wood structures here. So the amount of support that you're going to be able to get from these looks to be pretty good, though I do kind of feel like having this piece right here without it having to be connected either to the ground or to other parts, I don't know. It feels like it's floating to me, or it's more hanging off of the roof rather than supporting the roof up. But I'd be interested to hear what some of your comments are on all of that. But this is how a lot of these things are being used. It doesn't look like there's any other new pieces necessarily being used in this other than those wood parts. So all really cool stuff to see. And it just makes me really excited to see what we can do when we get our hands on them. It's going to be really fun placing these kind of radially around each other to make even cooler pillars. I know that's kind of what I just said. It's nice that these can help avoid, but it's going to be really cool to see some of the shapes that we're going to be able to create using more free-form styles. Now, another part of today's update that did make me really excited and might be hinting towards an expanded system was all of the new map icons are getting put into the game, most likely in the autumn update. And not only that, but there's an expanded set of the different map icons. Now, one thing that I really would want to see more of is an expanded map system where different parts and pieces of the map are just completely undiscovered. There's a lot of points of interest on the map right now, but it would be really, really cool if eventually the map system in Pax Dei worked in kind of a way, almost like if you've played Valheim, where there was a map table or a cartography table and you could share information with other people, where that also is something that might happen in Pax Dei. That would be something that I'd be really excited to have, because it adds more value to explorers and to what they can do, and also the value that they can provide to other people. So maybe you can sell others locations to special dungeons or secret entrances that otherwise you wouldn't be able to just see because you exist on the map. That would be really, really cool. And hopefully this is an indication that the map system is getting worked on and expanded on, at least, because it'll really provide a lot of value to people who are taking on more of an explorer's role in Pax Dei. Now, that is pretty much all that we had to go over this week. I know it's a relatively short episode, and sometimes short episodes are pretty fine. But I do know that we are going to be back next week with a couple of videos coming out on the channel. We're going to have most likely our first Cathedral series video coming out, as well as a couple of others just talking about other things related to Pax Dei that have been on my mind recently. But I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. And until next time, I'm Altari the Professional Gamer.